morning everyone. Welcome back to the session on fundamentals of computers. Yesterday we were discussing about the unit 3. In your unit 3 we will be discussing more about the output devices, what are the different kinds of output device we have, and also we will be discussing about the printer configurations, what kind of connections do we have and all. So, in the yesterday's session we were discussing about monitors, printers, plotters. We were at plotters. We will just try to see what these monitors are. We will just have a revision of what we have done yesterday. So, what are the different types of output units we have? So, the first one is soft copy output and the next one is hard copy output. Okay. These are the two different types of outputs we have. Soft copy output, we all know what it is. That is temporary and it is kind of a volatile. It will vanish after the use. That is a soft copy kind of an output. And when you consider the hard copy type of an output, in hard copy output, everything is produced on a paper or some material that can be touched and feel. You can feel it as well as you can touch it, and it is carried for being shown to others. These hard copy outputs are portable and you can actually carry it by hand to anywhere, to any other place, and these are permanent in nature and can be kept in paper files or can be looked at a later time when the person is not using the computer. So, what are the examples of output produced by printers or plotters? They are printers or plotters on paper. They are the examples for hard copy output. And then we were discussing about monitors. What do you mean by monitors? Monitors are the most popular output devices used for producing soft copy output, as well as the display. They display the output on a television like screen. Monitors are associated with keyboard, is called a video display terminal, VDT. It is the most popular input output device that we have. And then we also saw how a monitor looks like and how is it connected to the keyboard and the mouse. And then we saw the different types of monitors that we have, that is cathode ray tube CRT monitors. They look like a television and are normally used with non-portable computer systems. Okay. And then we have the flat panel monitors. They are thinner and lighter and are commonly used with portable computer systems like notebook computers. These are, when you see your laptop screens, that you can take them as an example of flat panel monitors. They are thinner and lighter, as well as they are portable computer systems. Okay. Now, they are also used with non-portable desktop computer systems because they occupy less table space. The recent innovations or the recent technologies, if you see, whatever desktop PCs we have, they are also having the flat panel monitors and not the cathode ray tube monitors, which are very bulky and fat. Okay. So, after that, what did we discuss? We were discussing about printers. Printer is the most common output devices for producing hard copy output. Generally, whenever someone says about a hard copy output, we only remember mostly about printers because they are the widely used output devices for hard copies. And then we were discussing about dot matrix printers. What do you mean by dot matrix printers? They are the character printers that form characters and all kinds of images as a pattern of dots. Print many special characters, different in sizes of print, graphics such as charts and graphs. So, yesterday we were seeing they are both cheap in cost. Initial cost of operation is cheap, as well as the maintenance cost is also cheap for your dot matrix printers. They have the impact printers. That means with one print, like in one round of print, you can get multiple copies. How will you get the multiple copies? By using carbon paper or its equivalent. So, these kind of a technology you can, or this kind of concept you can call as impact printers. And one problem with these impact dot matrix printers is that they are slow with speeds usually ranging from 30 to 600 characters per second. Okay. And then when you go to the formation of characters as a pattern of dots, it would generally look like this. Okay. Whenever you print something on the dot matrix printer, you can consider this as the output. And then a dot matrix printer. A dot matrix printer generally looks like this. If you go and check in the Xerox shops or in the internet caves, you will be able to identify these kind of a printer. So, the next part is inkjet printers. How are inkjet printers different from your dot matrix printers? The inkjet printers have 64 tiny nozzles, and with the help of these nozzles, they will be they will be spraying small drops of ink to the paper. So how is it able to do, how is it able to spray those small drops of ink onto the paper? With the help of the integrated circuit register that we have. These integrated circuit registers, they are selectively heating up in a few microseconds, and they are helping us to spray small drops of ink onto the paper. So that way we have 64 tiny nozzles that are helping us to print the output onto the paper. Okay. Next, to print a character, the printer selectively heats up the appropriate set of nozzles as the print head moves horizontally. As the print head is moving, it is heating up the selective and the appropriate set of nozzles, and those nozzles are spraying the relevant and the required output for us to the paper. And then we can print many special characters, different sizes of print and graphics such as charts and graphs. This is also able to print just like a dot matrix printer, any kind of a chart in different sizes and graphs accordingly to the output. So your inkjet printers and dot matrix printers, both of them are somewhat similar, but the technology that they are using is totally different, in which in the inkjet printers we are having these 64 tiny nozzles which are helping us to print it on the paper. And then the inkjet printers, one difference is that between inkjet printers and dot matrix printers, in inkjet printers they are non-impact printers. That means you cannot produce multiple copies at the same time or in one instance. Okay. So you need to have different instances for printing different sets of copies, because in this we are not using carbon paper or any kind of other relevant paper to get those multiple copies. And the next thing is, as we are not using carbon paper or anything, and they are non-impact printers, they can use color. The reason is we are having those 64 nozzles, right? In those nozzles we can fill in different inks, and based on the output that we require, that integrated circuit which was there, it was helping us to get the required output of the required color. So the inkjet printers, they are giving us monochrome as well as color, both kinds of outputs, and they are non-impact printers. They are slower than the dot matrix printers with speeds usually ranging between 40 to 300 characters per second. And these inkjet printers are more expensive than the dot matrix printer. Okay. So the cost is higher for inkjet printers, and they are also slower than your dot matrix printer. Then this is how your inkjet printer looks like. This is the most common type of a printer that we have seen in these days. And then we have the next kind of a printer, that is drum printer. We were discussing about drum printers yesterday, line printers that print one line at a time. So I showed you an example of how the drum printer looks like, where it was a cylindrical drum on which we had letters embossed on it, and these characters, whatever is there, the same kind of a style and font is used in the printing purpose. So with the drum printers, we were not able to create different types of patterns, but only whatever are the characters and letters that are there on the drum, we are able to use them. Other than that, we didn't have anything else to print on the output. So they have a solid cylindrical drum with characters embossed on its surface in the form of a circular band. Okay. So the characters, whatever are embossed on this circular band, they are all in the cylindrical drum which is there, on that the characters embossed are of circular bands. Okay. Set of hammers mounted in front of the drum in such a manner that an inked ribbon and paper can be placed between the hammers and the drum. Okay. So what does this mean? They have a hammer and an inked ribbon, okay, in between the paper. Wherever the paper is placed, between that, like on the top of the paper you have this hammer, and you have that inked ribbon below it. So whatever you wanted as an output, it is being printed on this paper by the help of this hammer which is hitting it, and the inked ribbon which is underneath that paper, it is getting its print on it. Okay. So can only print a predefined set of characters in a predefined style that is embossed on the drum. Then impact printers they are usually monochrome. Okay. Then the typical speeds in the range of 300 to 2000 lines per minute. This is the speed of drum printers. And we have yesterday seen this diagram, printing mechanism of a drum printer. How does the drum printer look like? We have a solid cylindrical drum with embossed characters. these are the embossed characters, and this is your cylinder. Okay, this is a solid cylinder that we have. This cylinder is having circular tracks. This is the way you have to see those characters, and these are all the circular tracks that we have. This is the paper, this is the this is the ribbon, and this is the hammer. These solid bars which you are able to see, these are the hammers, and this is the paper, the thin line over there, and the one which is underneath that is the ribbon. Okay, so the total number of bands is equal to the maximum number of characters print positions on a line. That means the total number of bands, whatever bands are there, it is equal to the maximum number of characters. Okay, that is the maximum number of characters it can print on a line. Okay, so now what it means is, whatever is that band that is there, only how many characters are being available here, only that many characters it can print. This is the band, this band, whatever are the characters, what is the size of this? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14. So if the cylindrical drum, the solid cylindrical drum, if it's able to only handle 14 letters, then only those 14 letters can be printed onto a line. After that, whatever it needs to be printed, it has to be printed onto the next line. That is how it is. So whatever is the length of this band, it is equal to the number of characters that can be there on the line for that print. Okay, and then the next thing is chain band printers. What do you mean by chain band printers? Line printers that print one line at a time. So in chain band printers, it is somewhat similar to your drum printers, but in this only one line is printed at a time. You cannot print different lines as an output onto the paper, but you can only print one line at a time. Okay, consists of a metallic chain band on which all characters of the character set supported by the printer are embossed. So it contains all kinds of characters that are supported by the printer. Like generally what all characters we have onto the keyboard, you can consider all those characters being supported by this kind of a chain band printer. In the drum printer, we had only few characters that are available on that cylindrical drum, and only those characters can be printed on the paper. But in chain band printer, it is not like that. It has all the characters that are set that is supported by the printer are embossed. Okay, also have a set of hammers mounted in front of the chain band printer in such a manner that an ink, ribbon and paper can be placed between the hammers and the chain band. So whatever are the qualities or features that you have for the previous drum printers, the same you can expect for this also. This is also having a set of hammers mounted in front of the chain band in such a manner that the inked ribbon, it also has an inked ribbon and a hammer, and a paper is placed between the hammers and the chain band. So that is how it is printing the output for us on the paper. Okay, then the chain band printers can only print predefined set of characters that are embossed on the chain band used with the printer. So whatever are the predefined set of characters that are embossed on the chain or band, they are used with the printer. They can only be printed onto this output. Okay, cannot print any shape of characters, different sizes of print and graphics such as charts and graphs. Your inkjet printers are very much advanced, and they are able to identify the output whatever needs to be printed, and it will give you the output exactly how it is there in the computer. Like whatever is the computer processing the output, the same output can be seen on the hard copy paper. Whereas in the chain band printers, drum printers, it is not the case. They don't support any shape of characters, different sizes of print. They won't support any different size, and they don't even support graphics such as charts and graphs, because whatever are embossed on that chain or band, otherwise the drum, cylindrical drum, only those characters can be printed. So in such a case, if you want to print a graph, or if you want to draw a circle that on the output, you cannot get it, because that line or that shape is not available in the drum or the cylindrical printer. Okay, and these are all impact printers. Whatever are having that setup, just try to remember one thing: whatever printers are not able to generate different kinds of outputs, they are all non-impact printers. Okay, and whatever printers are able to give you the same output or multiple copies of the output, they are all impact printers. So in impact printers, they won't be able to give you color output, because they are all having, they'll be able to copy the same output from the output that we get. So we will be using carbon papers and all. With the help of carbon papers, you won't be able to get some color output that is required. Whereas in non-impact printers, you will be able to get different color outputs, but it cannot give you multiple copies of the same output at the same time. So that is the difference that you have to remember. And these are also usually monochrome. The reason is we are using those carbon papers and all, and it won't be able to give you different color outputs for all the multiple copies that are available. And then typical speeds in the range of 400 to 3000 lines per minute is for your chain band printers. And then we'll be discussing about laser printers now. Laser printers are page printers that print one page at a time. It's not like one line at a time like the chain band printers, but laser printers, they print one page at a time, and they consist of a laser beam source, a multi-sided mirror, a photoconductive drum, and a toner, tiny particles of oppositely charged ink. Okay. So what are these laser printers doing? They are consisting of a laser beam source, a multi-sided mirror, and a photoconductive drum and a toner. On this toner you have tiny particles of oppositely charged ink. Okay. So to print a page, the laser beam is focused on the electrostatically charged drum by the spinning multi-sided mirror. This multi-sided mirror, it is helping you to focus the laser beam such that the electrostatically charged drummer, it is spinning it. Then the toner sticks to the drum in the places the laser beam has charged the drum surface. So where is the toner sticking? It is sticking to the drum in the places the laser beam has charged the drum surface. With this electrostatically charged drum, we are able to identify some places, and these places this toner gets stick to it and it will give you the output. So whenever the computer is trying to print a copy, whatever is the place where we have an output or there needs to be an output, all those places are charged, electrostatically charged in the drum, and they are identified where they have to be an output. Based on that, this toner is sticking to the drum in those places and we are getting the output from there. Okay. Then toner is then permanently fused on the paper with heat and pressure to generate the printer output. So what is it doing? The toner is then permanently focused, the toner is permanently fused on the paper with heat pressure to generate the printer output. Whenever the toner is sticking onto this electrostatically charged drum by the spinning multi-sided mirror, then at that point the toner sticks to the drum in the places the laser beam has charged the drum surface. Then the toner is permanently fused on the paper. It is with the heat and pressure to generate the printer output. So whenever it is getting fused on the paper with heat and the pressure, then it's generating us the printer output. Then laser printers produce very high quality output having resolution in the range of 600 to 1200 dpi. Laser printers produce very high quality output having resolutions in the range. So when you consider laser printers, you can talk about dpi. In the previous sessions I told you about dpi. It is dots per inch, or your pixels whatever is there, or the resolution that you calculate is all based on dpi. Sometimes you have a very blurred picture with all the boxes. If you don't have the proper resolution, or if the size of the picture is very low, in such cases the reason is it has a very low dpi. That means if it has a 100 dpi or 200 dpi for the resolution that you want, which is of 1000 dpi is required, and you only have a 100 dpi, then it will show you as blocks and boxes and it is very much blurred. So if you want a picture of very high quality, it should be of very high dpi. Okay. So that's what is like laser printers produce very high quality output having resolutions in the range 600 to 1200 dots per inch. Okay. Next we have laser printers. What do you mean by this laser printer? This laser printer which we were discussing is having 600 to 1200 dpi, and they can print many special characters, different sizes of print and graphics such as charts and graphs. So your inkjet printers and your laser printers are having a somewhat similar applications. What does it mean? These two technologies, if you understand, both of them are using your inkjet concept, where I will show you. So what is this laser printer doing? This laser printer, it is having this laser beam which is having a toner. Okay, this toner is helping us to permanently fuse with the paper, and it is giving us the output. So when you have a toner instead of the cylindrical drum with embossed letters, then this toner can help you to identify the output wherever you want, and it can give you the output in the required format. So with the help of toner or these ink nozzles, what happens is these will help you to perform whatever required output you want. When you have those embossed letters on the cylindrical drum, if you wanted to draw a circle or a line or a square, you won't be able to, because there won't be a such a letter or such a shape that is embossed on the cylindrical drum. Whereas these inkjet and laser printers, they don't have any shapes that are embossed or anything. They'll just have a toner, and based on the output that is required, they'll identify the locations, and the toner gets fixed onto the paper, and they heat that they get the heat, required heat, and they get fused, and they give you the output. So that is the reason they can print many special characters, different sizes of print, and graphics such as charts and graphs. Whatever you want, you will be able to, because the toner will be fused with the paper, and heat will be generated. Based on that, there will be an output on the paper. Okay, they are also non-impact printers. Whenever you have the color printers, and when you have these toners or the inkjets, you can mostly consider them as non-impact printers. The reason is they cannot produce multiple outputs at the same time. And if you want multiple outputs at the same time, you need to actually print different out different copies at different times. Okay, so most laser printers are monochrome, but color laser printers are also available. Okay, the previous versions or the starting versions had this monochrome technology, but that is, you can consider them as black and white, but the color laser printers are now available and in more use. Okay, then low speed laser printers can print 4 to 12 pages per minute. Very high speed laser printers can print 500 to 1000 pages per minute. So this is the speed of the laser printers, and they are more expensive than any other printer that is available. And then we have the diagram of a laser printer. This is how your laser printer looks like. And then the next kind of a output device we have is plotter. Till now we were only discussing about two types. One is monitors, the other one is printers. The next kind of a output device we have is plotter. So what do you mean by a plotter? Plotters are an ideal output device for architects, engineers, city planners, and others who need to routinely generate high precision hard copy graphic output of widely varying size. We will see what a plotter is, but first of all try to understand it is an output device just like your printer, but it is ideal for devices. It is an ideal device for architects, engineers, city planners, and others who need to routinely generate high precision hard copy graphic output of widely varying sizes. Okay, so we have two different types of plotters available. One is the drum plotter, the other one is the flatbed plotter. In drum plotter, this plotter in which the paper on which the has to be made is placed over a drum that can rotate in both clockwise and anti-clockwise directions. Okay, so this drum plotter in which the paper on which the design has to be made is placed on a drum. So drum in the sense, we have seen those previous drum based printers in which we had a cylindrical drum which was helping us to print the embossed letters that were there on that. The same way, this drum plotter in which the paper on which the design has to be made is placed over a drum that can rotate in both clockwise and anti-clockwise directions. Okay, whatever we need to print or whatever output we want, we are placing that paper, that output paper on over a drum, and that can rotate in both, that drum can rotate in anti-clockwise as well as clockwise directions. Next, what do you mean by flatbed plotters? This flatbed plotters in which the paper on which the design has to be made is spread and fixed over a rectangular flatbed table. So this flatbed plotter in which the paper on which design has to be made, it's spread over a fixed size of rectangular flatbed table. So in drum plotters, you have a cylindrical drum onto which you are placing the paper, and it's rotating in clockwise or anti-clockwise directions. Whereas the flatbed plotter, it is placed over a fixed rectangular flatbed table, and that flatbed table onto which we are placing the paper and getting the output design that we want. So this is how a drum plotter looks like. It has the paper, the design drawn on the paper, and it's giving the output that is required. Okay, and then we have the flatbed plotter. What do you have in the flatbed plotter? It looks flat like a rectangular plate, and the design drawn on the paper is being generated as an output here. We are placing the paper on this rectangular plot and we are getting the output that is required. Then we have the last kind of output device, that is screen image projector. What do you mean by screen image projector? We all know what projectors are. We must have seen in our previous in your schools and colleges you must have seen projectors. So the screen image projector, it's an output device that can directly plug into a computer system for projecting information from a computer onto a large screen. Whenever you are having large screen and you want to project the screen, that is your computer output, to that large screen, this screen image projector is helping us in that. So useful for making presentations to a group of people with direct use of a computer. With the help of a computer, we are just directly sending the computer screen output to the projector, and that projector is able to have a very magnified image as an output. So the full-fledged multimedia presentation with audio, video, image and animation can be prepared and made using this facility. So whatever you are giving the output to the monitor or the computer screen, when you connect that to the projector, it will be able to give the full-fledged media presentation. If the output of your computer screen is having this full-fledged media presentation with audio, video, image and animation, the same thing can be exactly depicted onto the projector screen or the magnified image that the projector is giving as an output. So these can be prepared and made using this facility. Okay, so that is the screen image projector. And then we have one more, that is voice response systems. What do you mean by voice response systems? The voice response system enables the computer to talk to a user, has an audio response device that produces audio output. Such systems are of two types: voice production systems, speech synthesis. So the first kind of a system is voice reproduction system, and the second thing is speech synthesizers. So we all know about Amazon Echo, right? So what is it doing? Whenever you are telling it something, it is receiving that command as an input, it is processing the required thing, and it is telling you something out as an output. So what is it happening there? The output that it is giving is the voice response system, okay, where you are able to get the output in the form of an audio instead of the hard copy or the soft copy content that we are getting in the form of a audio. Okay, so we have video reproduction systems and speech synthesizers. These are the different audio output devices we have, or the audio output types. So voice reproduction system, what do you mean by it? Produce audio output by selecting an appropriate audio output from a set of pre-recorded audio responses. Okay, they are producing audio output by selecting a appropriate audio output from a set of pre-recorded audio responses. So there will be a certain set of instructions that are already given to that response system, and whatever command you give, based on that command it will give an output in the form of an audio response. Okay, and then applications include audio help for guiding how to operate a system, automatic answer machines, video games, etc. So all these machines have this kind of a quality in which they have the predefined set of audio instructions, and whatever is the command or the user interacts, based on that he will get an audio output. Okay, and then speech synthesizers. What do you mean by speech synthesizers? It converts text information into spoken sentences. So used for applications such as reading out text information to blind persons, allowing those persons who cannot speak to communicate effectively, translating an entered text into spoken words in a selected language. So whatever is happening there, it is first trying to understand the text, and based on the text it is giving you the same output in the form of an audio. Whatever is the text that is displayed on the monitor is also producing an output, right? That output is in the form of a text. So how do you get it into an audio form? With the help of speech synthesizers. These help us to get the output in the form of an audio, which will be very much helpful for blind people for reading out text information. If you have that readout mode, generally in your Acrobat readers or your PDF reader, you have this feature called read out loud. So what does it do? The people who cannot read or people who want to listen, instead of reading that document, they can turn on this feature, and they can the computer itself, it will help with the help of this speech synthesizer, it will give you an output. Whatever the text is there, it will read out and it will give you the same output to the user in the form of an audio. So it's allowing it's allowing those persons who cannot speak to communicate effectively. Those who cannot speak, they are using this speech synthesizers, as well as it's helping us in translating and entered text into spoken words in a selected language. So whatever is the text that is there, it's first converting it, and it's helping you to whatever text is there in the output, it's first converting it into another language that is required for us, and it's giving us the selected language output. So these are the speech synthesizers that we have. So these are the different output devices that we have. The first thing is monitors, then we saw about printers, plotters, then we have the speech synthesizers. So these are the different kinds of output devices we have. So that's all for today. In the afternoon session, we'll discuss about the different kinds of evidence devices that we have, and the other configurations related to the printers. Okay, so thank you.